Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Sons of Montezuma podcast. The Aztecs defeat Wyoming 72-69. It's a victory Monday and a game against UNLV coming up tomorrow evening. I got the guys on my left and my right. We're going to get into it all, so stick around, and we'll see you in just 1 or 2 minutes.
Bottom 6 in the country and steals a game. Davis hits a 3. He bumped, no call. Davis rips the rebound. Davis finds Heide attacking. Get up, Miles Heide. So Nick Boyd in his last 5 games, 18 and a half. Back cut, Bird, dunk. Coleman Jones with a nice look. Boyd turns the corner. Bird launches and finally hits again. There's Miles Bird. Allen helps out. Dump over to Heide. Out. Rather, Henry trying to draw the charge. Instead, it's a 3 in the corner for Nick Boyd. Compton with the dunk. Gets past Belich and hammers it down. Defensive intensity, their calling card.
Here we
Here's
go.
Bird
He's unbelievable.
with the run out. Miles Bird with a hammer dunk. Nick Boyd turns the corner. Coleman Jones seals it off for Nick Boyd.
Yep. Take him.
Boyd.
Yep.
Kick to the corner. 3 goes down. Nice look. Boyd finds B.J. Davis.
Yep.
He missed it.
Give one.
Rebound.
Give one.
Belich gets it across. Belich across the timeline. He's Bird got a piece of it. And now kick out. Lost it. San Diego State wins. Zeros on the clock with a 72-69.
Everybody contribute. Getting us to the dream. Dreams become reality. Reality is brain.
I'm an Aztec warrior. Ah!
Welcome, everybody. Last weekend, San Diego State began the final stretch of the 2024-2025 basketball season. It began with hitting the road in perhaps the most challenging travel game in all the Mountain West Conference. Now, I consider myself a little bit of an expert on all things Laramie, Wyoming. What is it, over 7,000 feet above sea level? The Bronze Boot is a thing, I guess. The Buckhorn Saloon is a favorite spot of mine. Last year, I went with the football guys on the podcast, and we did the road trip to Laramie and the Aztecs football game, and we won in dramatic fashion, so I'm taking a little bit of credit for that. So I know a thing or two about a thing or two, but that was in October, and it was unusually San Diego-esque weather. Laramie in the winter, that's nothing to laugh about. And so Saturday night when the Aztecs took down the Cowboys of Wyoming 72-69, it was no laughing matter. Already without Magoon Guath, the Aztecs knew this was not going to be easy, and it wasn't until the second half when 3 technical fouls called in a row, it ignited the Dutch oven, and his guys brought the firepower to take care of business on the road. And although the mystique of Wyoming tried its best, grounding the Aztecs team there overnight due to mechanical issues on the charter plane, this group of young men will always look back on this wild road trip and will never forget the night the Aztecs had the last laugh in Laramie. I want to welcome you all to the Sons of Montezuma podcast. He went from East County to East Tahoe. It's Mike. What's going on, Mike?
What's up, man? Big win Saturday night. Wild technicals. Wyoming is Wyoming. Get in there and get the hell out of there as fast as you can. Get that dub. So, one more year.
One more year. They did not get out of there as fast as they could, but they handled business, and we are here to talk about it. So let's do this. Let's do this. You cannot stop him. You can only hope to contain him. He's known for, well, he's got a flashlight in the room. Flashlight. SD Sports Fiend, how are you doing, Fiend?
I'm good, man. How are you doing? I took my blood pressure medication. Definitely needed it for Saturday night. And What a just interesting game. I'm glad we got out of there with a win. That's the thing is we seem to be playing down to competition, but we are coming out with wins, and that's all that matters, right? So chalk it up to a dub and move on.
Chalk it up to a dub. That's exactly what it was. I mean, man, I tried to watch the game out and about. I know SDFC, the new soccer team, was playing like right after our basketball game. So trying to find a place out and about that I could watch it and like have a good time was a little bit of a challenge. I ended up with James and Eli, some of the guys up there at Excalibur, that cigar lounge. I came home smelling like all kinds of smoky
Cigars.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was terrible. And the game, I mean, it was so frustrating. I'm sitting there, and it's super quiet, and then they have like 80s jazz and all kinds of throwback stuff. So I couldn't really like yell at the screen. I mean, and this was one of those games, like you said, Fiend, kind of playing down to the competition. But I mean, is it really playing down to the competition with Wyoming? I mean, they always seem to be in their games, and then they just get either ran off the court towards the end. With us, they were up 18 points on us at home. So, I mean, this wasn't a surprise, really.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say that. They have been run off the court pretty bad this year by some teams, but they also played New Mexico tough. So, they have their moments when they can play, really, really well. And it just seemed like this was one of those games where they had a couple guys like that Belic, Serbian guy. He doesn't hit threes, and I think he hit 2, and they were grabbing every single rebound, and they played really well for as bad as their record is. And we did not, obviously we shot the ball well in this game, but rebounding the basketball was a totally different story.
I don't know what the differential was. Second half, we came out much more aggressive on the boards. I know they noted that. Mike, did you actually watch the game, dude? Did you watch it this time?
I did. I was able to watch it. I caught it. What an interesting game! I like the 5 o'clock start, by the way. Because you can do stuff after. But, I was thinking about it. Do we play down to the competition, or do they play up to? Does the competition play up to us? But it might be a little bit of mixture of both, right? We always say we're everybody's Super Bowl, so it's kind of like we can't really say that we play down if we're everybody's Super Bowl, because then they're playing up to us. So it's kind of interesting to see, and it's every year. But yeah, I mean, hey, we got a dub. One more year. I think I'm going to go there next year, by the way, for the last time there. But we got a dub. We needed it, and then we did what we needed to do to get the win and then get out of there.
Boy, I mean, I know you've been wanting to go to Wyoming all year. You're kind of talking about it next year. What'd you think about Dutch's quote? Because, I mean, there's a lot to unpack in this game, right? It was a dramatic game. Like, this game was – I don't think I've ever seen Dutch, get as hot as he did out there on the court, running out there. I mean, I thought he was going to get thrown out. 3 technicals back to back to back, 2 of them on us.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was reading something that's the 5th time in history there's been 3 technicals in a game, I believe. Something like that, something to that ilk. But why would we think it would be anything different after they scored those 8 points in 3 seconds, I guess, that's at home a couple weeks ago? And then you get the 3 techs, which is crazy. Because Boyd got kicked out of the last game, didn't he? With a technical foul?
Yeah.
Against Wyoming?
You're right. Yeah. That was at home, too. It was like at the very end of the game, and it almost made things very interesting. Like 2 games.
So don't tell me those guys weren't still talking shit from that 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? Especially Nick. I mean, I'm sure he had some little, hey. But then Obama, I think, he's a nice little player, by the way. He just started running his mouth, and you teed him up. But then I don't understand the BJ because I don't think he said anything. It might be one of those ones where the refs were already on edge and they heard someone say it, and BJ got detention. You know what I mean? So, and then the Miles, I mean, he was just egging him on, man. I think Miles did that on purpose because he was right. He was like, "Come on, dude! Like you watch the replay, you're like, Miles, come on, man. You don't think they're gonna call that on you?"
For those who may not have seen, let's give a little bit of a flashback. Let's just
Winding down, Davis is going to have to hoist and hit. BJ Davis.
He isn't talking to anybody.
The bench, our
It's the
bench.
Yeah, but he
That's
gave it to BJ. Yeah.
Wow.
He's like one of the most quiet guys on the team too.
That's what I'm saying. I love BJ's
Never
reaction.
runs his mouth.
Like nothing happened. Like, what did I do? What did I do?
This one's on board.
They called it. Somebody said something on the bench. They just called him BJ. I don't know. But Dutch is, yes. I mean, we've seen him get that upset once in a while, but it's not. It may be once a season. Now, Dave.
I mean, you couldn't see them say anything.
No, he didn't say anything. It was just. I was looking at the refs, like we were texting in the chain or whatever, and the refs are just not good refs. The bottom two guys are just not very good. Like I remember he got pissed like that last year where they had to hold him back, and I think he's so whatever, man. I mean, it is one of those games where each there's so many different crazy games throughout the year. This reminded me of the Utah State game from whatever the bracelet guy. You know what I mean, from a couple years ago.
Yes,
it was the same kind of anarchy, just the kind of same vibe of like, what is going on here? What is happening? So I think they're fun games to watch because you never know what's going to happen in those games. But obviously, it's probably different to coach and play in.
Those crazy travel games, man. They're always some kind of drama on the court and off the court. Anyways, that was wild. I mean, I don't really know what more to say. Did they ever clarify like what was said? Because I know in the UT, Ziegler made a excellent observation as far as the officiating goes, right? And with the whole consortium, and since the Pac-12 original Pac-12 fell apart, a lot of these officials, they left ship, went to the Big 12, went to different conferences, and now it's kind of a piecemeal together officiating federation, whatever, that's handling the Mountain West and all these Western sided conferences and teams and games. So, I mean, he really went in depth and kind of listed each guy, how many big time games do they officiate? And one of them, the one that was calling the tees, I mean, he was probably the most inexperienced one out of the bunch.
Division II ref, yeah.
I mean, you hate to focus in on something like
bottom
that,
of the barrel. I mean, the Mountain West is getting bottom of the barrel this year, and I Ziegler made a good point in that article. He said that the thought was that these refs from this consortium that's aligned with the Big Ten from the Midwest, that they would come out west and they would ref the Big Ten teams that are out on the West Coast, and then also ref the Mountain West teams while they were out here. Well, it didn't work out that way, and we're getting a hodgepodge of inexperienced refs from either lower Division I or Division II, and it's really disgusting that San Diego State is in this situation where we have to be playing these games with these refs that really have no business being on the floor.
But you know what? You still have to play the games with those refs on the floor, and you got to find a way to figure it out and win. And they did struggle through adversity, adapt, adjust, change, whatever you have to call it. But you have to. They're the same thing, man. They've
been adapting all season.
But that's what you got to do, and that's they've had. You have to struggle. Struggle breeds character.
I mean, that trip to San Jose, that was a major adaptment, and then all of the craziness in the Mountain West, the refs, and then the charter plane breaking down and having to stay another night in Laramie. Oh, poor.
I heard, by the way, I
heard
it was 60 degrees Saturday. I heard it was 60 degrees. I think someone said that. So beautiful.
At least, at least Mother Nature took pity on the Aztecs.
Yeah. But hey, fun games, man. You never know what's going to happen in these games, and that's what. And of course, if you lost, you're like, you want to burn the house down. But luckily, we won.
And for everybody in the chat, I do see your chat. We're going to get to all your questions, comments, and concerns in the second half of the episode. But let's go through the box score just a little bit, because this, dude, you can't ignore BJ Davis, 18 points. he's been on a really nice run here as of late. And, I was trying to gather my thoughts together in preparation. And it's like, I know we're all bummed about making the games a little more dramatic, playing the bottom of the barrel, teams in the Mountain West and struggling. I'm seeing the comments and just, scratching my head. Why are these games always so close? But, I'm pretty excited about this team right now. I think certain performers are kind of, I don't want to say they're beginning to peak, but that's the MO on Brian Dutcher's teams, right? I mean, the score wouldn't indicate that this team is peaking or that they're getting to the peak of, the crescendo of their season, whatever you want to call it.
At the peak.
But yeah, at the peak, Mountain West. But I do look at the box score and just watching the game. I mean, I was very encouraged, right? You see BJ Davis starting to come around, being a lot more efficient. And, I mean, he's hitting shots, right? He's hitting his threes, getting the free throw line. And just an all-around effort for everybody. We already know Magoon is not there, so it's just forcing everybody to elevate their game. It's not perfect. It's not a finished thing. But, I wanted to say that from the beginning. Like, this is the most challenging road trip in the Mountain West, bar none. It is. So the fact they went in there, got the dub, came together. I'm very encouraged with this team. Miles Bird, 18 points, right? So you see that, you're like, okay, you're starting to see some things coming together. Fiend, you look like you're chomping at the bit, man. What you got?
No, I mean, I really liked how we got out on the fast break in this game. We got some easy buckets. It's great when you can do that on the road because it's always tough. You usually don't shoot as well on the road, especially at altitude. And to get out and get those easy fast break points was a really good sign. And then just to see, the ball go through the net for Miles Bird getting, what he went like 7 of 14 and, still didn't shoot well from three. He's still, I think that finger or that thumb is still bothering him. But, for BJ Davis to hit 4 of 7, that was huge. I mean, that was, difference in the game, right? It was so close. I mean, 3 points. So I thought we really, they really came out with a lot. Wyoming came out with a lot of aggression, and they were very hungry in this game, especially rebounding the basketball. And we just could not rebound at all this game. And it was so lopsided on that end. And it's deflating when you get so, you're playing defense and you're giving up so many second, third, fourth chance shots, and then you see the ball go in. That's tough on the defense. And so, kudos to us for, getting through it, shooting well. We finally shot well this game. I think we shot at like 50%. And we found a way to win the game. That's all that matters. We got out of there. No, we didn't take a quad 3 or quad 4 loss, whatever it would have been. So we survived in advance.
Survive in advance. We are now in March officially, and this is what it's all about, guys. It doesn't matter who you're playing. You just got to survive in advance by any means you can. Get that win. This is that time of year, so I'm happy they're playing in these type of games. It's going to prepare them, and hopefully Magoon will be back by tournament time. We'll get into that, I'm sure, just a little bit. I want to get into the second half of the episode already, guys. I'm kind of eager to do that, but to transition over, let's get it out the way. Let's do it. Let's get it out the way. You guys know sonsofmontezuma.com, the NIL shop. Right now, Mesa Foundation, I think they're actually having a big what are they having, like a big dollar match pledge? What is it, like something like $500,000 or something like that? Is that
goal of $500,000.
Okay, and that's amazing, right? So you can basically give whatever you can, but we do have our partnership with the Mesa Foundation, so this money will go towards that pledge as well. $30 for a Catapult U t-shirt, and that's a white shirt. Probably won't have it in time for senior night, as seeing that is this coming weekend. But nevertheless, your donation, all the proceeds, all the profits go towards the Mesa Foundation, and it is a pretty sweet design. Pretty sweet design. Little homage to the Aztec warrior in it. So definitely check that out. And of course, sonsofmontezuma.com, all the other merch and different fun little things we got going on there. And you can save 15% off using that promo code MONTY at checkout for non-NIL stuff. All different kind of stuff. So definitely check that out. All right. Let's get into some of the comments we're seeing in the chat. First off, I think I like this one. It's by one Mike Tortoline. He says, should Fiend grow a mustache? What do you guys think? Should we do a poll if Fiend should grow his stash? I don't know. Have you ever had a stash, Fiend? Have you ever had a stash?
No, I don't grow facial hair. No, it just irritates me, and no, don't do it. I'll put on a faux stash, like something that's fake, temporary, but no.
Like glue it on, like a little thin one.
I mean, to be fair, mustaches and beards are technically temporary because you can't shave them off.
Yes, they are, but they're
if
not.
We win the how about this? If we win the Mountain West tournament, will you grow a mustache?
No.
Oh. All right.
Okay. All right. Let's see. I know we're kind of talking about this game already, but with the how do you say, the rebounds, I know you kind of addressed that a little bit.
39 to 23. But offset, the one thing I saw that offset that they had 17 turnovers to R7. So that's a little bit of a, I wouldn't say a wash, but a pseudo wash. But that's a lot of.
That's the highest rebounding margin, along with what we did at New Mexico, which was another, was a really bad performance by us, out rebounded minus 16 on the board. So, that's a lot. That's a big differential.
Yeah.
I mean, I like what I saw with Heidi in there. I mean, he had some offensive moves that I think you could see that confidence coming out. And of course, on the offensive boards, I'm not looking at his numbers in the box score exactly what he had right off the bat. Didn't look like he had a ton of rebounds. Nobody really jumps out as far as the rebounds go other than JCJ.
Yeah, I thought JCJ really kind of turned it up in the second half. So that was good to see. I think it comes down to altitude, guys. That's the big reason.
I'll agree with that. Mm-hmm.
And I know we're going to do a Fiendolytics segment. Are we still doing that, or should I just run with this?
Oh, what are you ready? I think he's ready.
Yeah, let's just break this down. Okay, so this is crazy. When I was looking at this, the rebounding margin for altitude teams when we play them at their place versus the altitude teams when we play them at home. So there's 6 altitude teams: Wyoming, New Mexico, Colorado State, Utah State, Air Force, and Nevada. So that the altitude over 4,000 feet. I don't count Boise. I don't count UNLV in that category. So when you look at the rebounding margins, again, at Wyoming minus 16, at New Mexico minus 16, at Colorado State minus 9, at Utah State minus 8, at Air Force minus 2, and at Nevada minus 1. Now, when you look at how we played them at home, the differential in rebounding, we were plus 4 against Wyoming. So minus 16 in Laramie, plus 4 at home. We were only minus 4 at home versus New Mexico, minus 16 at the Pit. Colorado State, we were even. So minus 9 in Fort Collins, and we're even at Viejas. Utah State, we were actually plus 4 at our place, and we were minus 8 in Logan. Air Force, we were plus 25 at Viejas, and we were minus 2 in Colorado Springs. Now, we don't have data yet for Nevada because we haven't played them at home, But when you compare that with the non-altitude teams, okay, so when you look at Fresno, you look at San Jose, UNLV, Boise, there isn't that disparity for us, whether we're playing at home or we're playing away. At Fresno, we were plus 15. At home, we were plus 14. So pretty even. When you look at Boise, we were -1 actually at home, and we were plus 10 at their place. And then UNLV, we don't have data yet for the away team. San Jose, we were plus 8 at home, and we were plus 7 at their place. So do you see how like the difference between how much altitude that difference makes in the rebounding margin? And what I think it's not that like they don't want to rebound. It's just they don't have the legs and they get so winded. And, when you're at the end of a shot clock and you're huffing and puffing and you're, trying to catch your breath, your technique is going to suffer, right? That's the last thing you're going to want to do is box someone out. And so that's what I'm seeing from this, from this season, is that really we've been affected by playing at altitude, and that's when we have our worst rebounding games. Fortunately, we don't have any more altitude games, so hopefully those rebounding margins will not be, the huge differential that they've been when we played on the road. And thank God we're getting out of this conference where we only have 2 altitude games a year going into the Pac-12.
I like that Fiendalytics right there, man. That's good stuff. That is good stuff.
What do you guys think about that?
What do you say? Insane and in-depth stats that ESPN would never give us. Great info, Fiend. That's from JK. What's going on, JK? I agree, man. I mean, that is good stuff. I think leading up to the game, them talking about the elevation, and I mean, Wyoming is probably the worst one. I think you covered, right? So it's like, this was absolutely had a lot to that. And the way we play defense, the way they play defense, man. I mean, by the end of that shot, like you're saying, towards the end of the shot clock, it's like now you got to go hunt for that ball coming off the rim because they threw a brick or something. So
I do like that. I like that stat, that comparison. I'd like to see at some point what the other teams plus minus differentials would be. I mean, obviously, if we were drinking,
you mean the sea-level teams would play?
Yeah, just each like you. I mean, you would take time to do it. I thought it was cool because those are interesting to see how they are. But yeah, I think it's the legs for sure. I mean,
and then you don't know if it's just like our team or if I don't know, maybe it's just a coincidence.
Yeah,
because it's not a really huge sample size, but it does seem to be just such a huge disparity between the rebounding differential home versus away against these altitude teams.
Yeah. But you still get the win after getting out rebounding like that. I mean, that's pretty.
Yeah.
Shot 50%. Yeah, so.
I see that from Curtis. Can you guys fact check me on that? In the last 5 games, have we shot over?
We shot 50 last game. The game before we shot like 48.1%.
That's I mean, that's still
that was Mexico, Utah State. We were Curtis is making things up apparently. 44% for a field goal. Curtis, come on, man. You have Bean. You need to teach these kids about stats and accuracy.
Last 5 games, we are. Let's see here. I need to find it here.
Yeah, I mean we're 44, 48, 50. Boise, we were 54. So maybe it's an average in a 50. Maybe that's what you mean. Is that what you mean?
We have. He's absolutely correct. We are hitting 50.2% last 5 games.
As a whole?
So he's correct. Yes. Yeah, overall, field goal percentage is 50.2%.
Forgive me.
So he is speaking facts.
No,
and we're hitting 36.1% of our 3-point shots, which is pretty decent. That's a pretty good. The shot is starting to come back to us, which is good. We need that.
Oh, the timing. It's
always the timing. This is always the time we get going, and you get these other teams that are going to get tired. Like I was reading a thing about BJ, and he was saying, "Hey, I just got to get back to who I am. I am who I am, and study and get some rest and get there." And so it's they're trying to still figure themselves out through the end of the year, man. You know what I mean? I think Bird had a little bit of a hip issue all year. It sounds like as well. So, but
We'll get into
hey,
that. We'll get into
yeah,
that.
here we go, man. 2 games left against both Nevada teams. That's going to be we win those, and I think we have a shot at being at the 3 or the 2. But,
Well,
hey,
Avocado Grower, what's going on? I know who that is, Avocado Grower. He says, we just happened to be on the same Southwest flight with the team to Las Vegas a bit ago. The crew gave the team a shout out on the plane, right? He's asking if we're going to be there tomorrow pregame somewhere. Unfortunately, I am not going to be in Las Vegas for this game.
I wanted to go, but I just couldn't make it work for work. But yeah, I was thinking about leaving like after work and just, getting there last second and then going to the game and hanging out and then going right into work on Wednesday. But yeah, it didn't work out.
Tournament's coming up, so we'll be out there for Mountain West Conference tournament for sure. That's a annual occurrence,
which is a real bummer because I think we've kind of been screwed on these, like the regular season games against UNLV. They've either been on New Year's Eve or the last week of the regular season on a Tuesday. Come on, give us a Vegas game on a Saturday, or Aztec. And I think they do that on purpose because they know they don't have any fans. And, I saw something online with the Utah State, their fan section, like they have this thing where they have this weird relationship with UNLV because they don't have any fans that show up for the games. So like they'll cheer for their games while they're there in Vegas for the tournament, which to me that's pathetic that you're at home and you can't get your own fan base out there, that you need a traveling fan base to come help you out. But anyway.
Well, we take over Vegas every year. Well, New Mexico's number 1, so they might. We'll see. They might.
They'll be there. They travel good when they're good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So even though their coaches
all
live
the time. What is that? What is Patino? Did he really? Is that true or is that rumors? Utah invited him out, gave him a look at.
I would imagine it might have been a call.
I think he's gone. I think he's going to be gone after this season.
He's a great coach.
He is a great coach. He's a great coach, and he's not going to be, his stock is as high, I think, as it can be at New Mexico. And if there's a year that he's going to leave, this is going to be the year. I don't think he wants this. I'm not sure he really wants to stay there when the Mountain West splits up and he's there with the leftovers.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to,
because that conference is not going to be nearly as strong. I mean, that's almost like a WAC level conference. It's not gonna look good. I don't know. I wouldn't see why he'd want to stay.
Pitino needed this year. He needed to have this year because with House gone, Dent coming back, and Nelly Joseph, whatever his name is, he needed to have this kind of a year to kind of legitimize himself for a bigger position. Because I wouldn't say he's a great coach. I mean, great recruiter with the name Pitino, and he's got a good staff.
I think he's a pretty good coach. I do. I think he's a good coach. I mean, he's learned from one of the best to do it.
Yeah.
And his dad. And so he has the pedigree there. And Mike's all upset because we're making this about a New Mexico.
What is?
Give it a rest, bro.
Yeah. I mean,
all right.
I gotta go. I got stuff going on right now. I just got Oh, New Mexico. Can't spell New Mexico without New Mexico. Hey, I don't think they put the UNLV in some of these games where the teams are kind of mediocre on the weekends for us. I think they put them during midweek. And they give us the bigger games, Utah State, Colorado State, New Mexico on Saturdays. I think is what they do. It seems to be the how they do it. So, I'm looking forward to UNLV. I'm
Let's
100%
get back.
changing the subject from New Mexico, guys. Flipping it.
Yeah, let's stay on UNLV real quick. Larry Joe, what's going on, Larry Joe? He said, "What's the latest on the injury of UNLV's Deaton Thomas Jr.? I heard 2 weeks gone, was possibly out for the rest of the season. Is he done for the year, Fiend? I know you kind of tracked that last week.
Yeah, I don't know if he's done for the year. I haven't heard anything about him coming back though. And the thought is that Kevin Kruger is going to get fired at the end of the year, and then Deaton Thomas is probably going to transfer if he's. I'm not sure he's a pro, NBA first round, even second round prospect. So that would be my guess. Would be he'd be, if he were to sit out, it'd be to just preserve his health and, because he wants to move on. But I don't know. He might be back, and I think they're actually playing really good basketball without him. I mean, they put a thumping on Nevada at home. They look really good. They got some ballers on that team other than Thomas. And so I do not think that this is going to be an easy game at all. I mean, obviously we lost at home. Deaton Thomas lit us up and got to the free throw line. I don't know how many times. At the end of the game, he just lived at the free throw line. They won't have that if he's not playing, but they've got some other good players, and I don't think this is going to be easy, but I'm hoping that these guys are really pumped up for this game to get some revenge because we should not have lost that game at Viejas. That loss at Viejas could have very well cost us possibly a Mountain West championship. If somehow New Mexico slips up here, in one of these games. But yeah, got to get this win. I think this is a huge win. If we win this game and we win against Nevada on Saturday, I think we're pretty much a lock for the tournament. I would say that we're at least like, going to be like an 11 seed, but then you don't know with bid stealers and all of that. So, but I think it's looking good because our wins are, especially out of conference, are really, really strong. The best in the Mountain West, I would say, as far as the non-conference wins, and so that's gonna bump us up a seed line.
Well, these Rebels have won 5 of their last 6 games, like you said. Colorado State was that loss, and everybody else, yeah, man, on a little bit of a roll. So we'll see. Hopefully, Deaton doesn't play. I don't want to stress anymore, but let's before we get back into the comments, let's take a look at the standings real quick because I believe we have some shakeup, right? Colorado State just absolutely, well, they put a whooping on Utah State and they leapfrogged them, right?
Yeah.
And so I hear you, Fiend. I mean, that one game against UNLV, that loss, I mean, we could have been in that position, right, to leapfrog somebody. Of course, we lost to Colorado State on the road, the game we were at. So, I mean, just some of those missed opportunities, we could have been in that position too. The margin of that is so thin, but those were games should have had. But right now, it's looking like, okay, New Mexico, Colorado State, Utah State, San Diego State, Boise State. Those 5, I mean, it's top heavy, right? I think it's just a really steep drop off with no matter how good UNLV is playing. So I asked this question of you guys in the text earlier. Looking at the Mountain West Conference is one thing. Let's start with that. I mean, are we kind of looking like we are boxed in at that 4? Because Utah State's got the 2 games on us. We got to split with Colorado State, and we're not catching New Mexico. So,
yeah, no, we're not boxed in at the 4. So what it's going to come down to is we need to win the last 2 games, and the critical game, I think. Okay, CSU is probably going to win at home against San Jose State, but then they have to go to Boise, right? And then if they lose to Boise, then we're tied with them, and I believe we'd be tied with Utah State because Utah State's not losing at home to Air Force. So in that scenario where there's a 4-team tie, because Utah State, SDSU, CSU, and Boise would all be tied. Then you go to the records, like your combined records between those 4 teams. Utah State would be 4-2. SDSU would be 3-3, CSU would be 3-3, and Boise would be 2-4. So that means Utah State is the 2 seed, and then Boise is the 5 seed. Then it's the 3 and 4 seed between SDSU and CSU. Now, after that, then they go to the top of the standings. So if New Mexico is number 1, then you look at your record, top 1, then 2, then 3, and if it's equal, then you move down, the ladder. But CSU got swept by New Mexico. We split with New Mexico, so we would jump into that 3rd spot. So that's the thing. Win out. Hope that Boise beats CSU at home, which I think they'll be favored in that game. And then I think we're going to be a 3rd seed in the tournament. We play the 8:30 game or whatever on Thursday instead of having to play the 4 or 5 against a really hot Boise team that we've already beat twice. But you know how hard it is to win 3 times. So that is what I would expect. If Boise loses to CSU, then obviously we would drop to the 4 seed. CSU would be the 2 seed. Utah State would be the 3 seed. Boise would be the 5 seed.
And it would be what you're seeing there on the screen. So yeah, that's awesome, man. That's a great breakdown of what we should keep our eye on, man. It's exciting, man. I'll be honest. I'm really enjoying, even though we haven't performed up to a top 2 status level, but I think we're gonna surprise some folks in this Mountain West tourney. I really do.
I hope so, man. It'd be great to have Goon back. We'll see. On the broadcast, they mentioned that he looked good in the shoot-around that they saw, and they thought he would be back sooner. Obviously, they're not doctors. Sergio and the training team are gonna make that decision, and Goon himself. But Dutcher said he's not putting him on the floor until he's 100%. So if he does come back, I would expect it would probably be for the Mountain West tournament, and then it may be like kind of limited minutes at first. We may see him on senior night, but definitely limited minutes, I think, first, and then maybe hopefully then we get to the NCAAs and he gets them back in the rotation. Hopefully that's enough time.
Beautiful. Holding out hope, man. Holding out hope. Mike, I know.
Sorry to interrupt you, Matthew. None of that stat and those machinations of the records don't mean shit if we lose on Saturday.
It's true. I mean,
so it's like to me, it's like
Tuesday or Saturday.
I love all the stats and stuff like that, and like I look at that stuff, it's like, oh, this is neat. But then it goes back to the reality of you have to win. You lose everything, it doesn't matter. Then you're like, obviously we're locked into that Thursday game instead of the Wednesday game, which is the first hurdle, right? But I mean, it's going to be interesting because you just beat UNLV, and then you get to that 4. The 4 is 2:30 in the afternoon. The other 2 are 6:30 and 8:30. Those are rough, man. So sorry, Matt. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Would you rather play Boise in a 4-5 match? Or would you rather play UNLV as the 6 seed, 6-3, in the 8:30 game?
I think you know my answer to that. I don't care who we play. I'll play anybody, anywhere. It don't matter to me, dude. Because you got to play half of whatever it is to get where you got to go. So, to me, I don't care. Like, I just don't care who we play. You know what I mean? I just want our team to play well and play good. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking at it, I don't know who you would want to play. I mean, we manhandled Boise twice. We'll see how they play against UNLV tomorrow. But it is tough to win 3 games. But it's not like we just barely beat Boise. I mean, we assaulted them twice. You know what I mean? So whoever, I think, for me, like if I want to see somebody, it's Utah State again. I guarantee those guys want to play Utah State again. After all that stuff, that crazy stuff that happened, the buzzer beater at the end, and then the 14-0 run with no shots at all except free throws. That would upset me.
And Goon for a full full game.
Yeah, I think he's. I don't think, if we win on Tuesday, we win tomorrow, and then we end up winning against Voldemort up here. I think that gives him 2 weeks rest, 2.5 weeks rest. You know what I mean? And then he comes a little bit fresh, I guess, for the Mountain West tournament, but still needs to get his lungs up and stuff. But I don't really care who we play, whoever, whenever, wherever, because it's you can't. Yeah, I like the speculation, but the reality is like whoever, man. We gotta go through 3 teams to win.
Quinn, thank you very much for the super. Had that little Super Mario brother sound effect for you, Quinn Thomas. Thank you so much. He says, y'all just need to perform in Vegas like y'all did in November. Do you remember November? That was a great month, man. Houston, Creighton.
Is this the Auburn guy, Quinn Thomas?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Huh.
Auburn out there doing it. What's going on with Auburn? CBM, how's it doing? I'm curious, Quinn. Are we really talking with Quinn, or are we talking with maybe somebody else?
No, I mean, why would anybody from Auburn want to be paying attention to us, dude? You know what I mean?
Bo Jackson, is that Bo?
He's been in our chat. What are you talking about? He's been one of our biggest supporters. So yeah, Quinn, you're always welcome
we appreciate it.
In our chat. And yeah, I mean, Auburn #1 seed probably overall. I mean, they're beating the snot out of everyone. They beat Kentucky, I think, the other day at Rupp Arena. So they're playing great basketball, and not sure they're a team that I want to face in the NCAA tournaments, but yeah, I just want to get there.
Not one of all 23
CBM, he got punched in the mouth or something like that by Lamont. I think Lamont like almost knocked a tooth out or something. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
The game I want to see. Yeah.
I'm dead serious. Yeah.
Is there a video of it?
And I imagine they're still friends. I mean, from playing together. So that must have been a really awkward. Yeah, friendly fire.
What was it? I mean, it was not. It was inadvertent.
I don't think it was intentional, but it was. He got popped pretty good. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Honestly, guys, I'm in a Mountain West bubble. Like for the most part, like I just keep the blinders on Aztecs, Mountain West. Like anything outside of us, it's tough. It's real tough to be a fiend of basketball as much as you. Fiend.
Championship week. I mean, it's I just got the ESPN subscription for it, so I can watch more basketball and watch all these games for championship week. So yeah, I'm excited. The future Cinderellas, and it's gonna be some really good basketball played. I love this time of year.
Yes, sir, Bill. Let's go, March Madness. Let's go.
The game I want to see, just the game I want to see, is Duke and Auburn.
Yeah,
because Duke is on a heater right now, and Auburn is obviously the best team in the country.
Yeah, well, they're looking like it's going to be a crash course between those two teams. So we'll see if they match up in the championship game.
All right, gotta give them the power up. Quinn says, "I've kept up with y'all since the NCAA tournament. It was on a layup. Lamont went up and hit CBM with his offhand. So yeah, flailing the arms a little." Yeah. Nothing intentional.
I wonder if that was a flagrant. I don't know if they called that flagrant 1 or flagrant 2. They're really kind of cracking down on those, on those off arms and hitting people, above the neck area. So,
have you ever gotten caught with one like that on the court, Fiend? Out there just playing rec ball, like been hit or anything like that, dude?
Not playing basketball, playing water polo. Yes. Plenty of
water polo. Dang. Did you drown?
No. Obviously, I'm still here.
CPR.
But no, yeah. It's not fun when you take one right square in the nose. It hurts, or in the mouth, or in the jaw.
I think the worst I've ever been injured on a basketball court, I was playing shoot around with Big James. You guys know Big James. And we were out there, and I was waiting for the rebound underneath the rim. He shot it, and it like bounced off the rim. It was a brick. That brick hit off the rim so hard and fast, it hit me right in my left eye. And like literally for a decade, sometimes when the light was shining too much, I would look, and like I see like a silver lining around in my peripheral view, like a sliver of light, like processing the light
Damn, you got
in my
eyeball.
eyeball.
Wow.
It was nuts. It was nuts.
Jeez.
Yeah, seeing things. Anyways, Quinn, what's going on, man? You're is this Quinn or is this Charles Barkley, bro? I think it's Charles. I think it's Charles. It was a flagrant one, he says. Thank you for the addendum to the super. Appreciate you, Quinn. Or Charles or Gnarls Barkley, maybe.
We should make a list of the colleges with football, basketball, baseball. Say, for example, Auburn, Charles Barkley, Frank Thomas.
Like the best players. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, the three. You have the three that are like Hall of Famers or whatever.
Well, I mean,
Charles
you got
Barkley, Frank Thomas and Bo Jackson, right? San Diego State, Marshall Falk, Kawhi Leonard,
Why?
Steve
Leonard.
Smart, and Tony Gwynn.
Yeah.
Come on now.
You know what I mean? UCLA is. Sorry, UCLA. Troy Aikman, Jackie Robinson, and Bill Walton, or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, whoever you want to put in there. You know, those are kind of cool, fun games to play. We can maybe play them at the bar.
I heard you have a top three, Mike.
I do.
Top three. This is what we want to call a little special segment, Mike's top three. So I think. Mike's top three. What you got for us, man? What's on your top three tonight?
My top three technical fouls in San Diego State history. Like the most, whatever, dude. Right? Number one, I think we all know what number one. Should I go for 3-1? We'll go 3. 3 is the BJ foul, the BJ technical foul on Saturday. To me, that was the most ridiculous. That just is dumb. You know what I mean?
Did this get you in the mood for looking up flagrant fouls and technicals and all that stuff?
Yeah, like
BJ.
I know we've had more, but to me, these are the 3 that are most memorable. Obviously, recency bias with that one, but I just thought that was outrageous. Number 2 is when Jamal was jumping out of bounds down on the other side, away from down by the San Diego State bench, and he turned around, threw the ball back in, and hit the kid in the face, and the guy called a technical on Jamal. And everybody's like, I mean, bro, he's trying to save the ball. The kid's face got in the way. I mean, what do you want to do there? Right. So that one was, I remember the ref too. I don't remember his name, but he's kind of a whatever. But, and then number 1 was the Kawhi technical against Arizona.
Yeah.
Or, sorry, against
UConn. The Kemba flop. The Kemba flop. Ugh.
That was, I mean, like, I still have buddies just say we would have won the Natty if we would.
That wasn't Kawhi though. That was Jamal.
That was Jamal. But
was it Jamal?
Kawhi
Okay, then Jamal twice. Yeah.
I remember Kawhi got 2 early fouls in the first half and had to sit
and that's what it was. Okay, yeah, I could remember
the first half.
But
yeah, Jamal, Jamal got 2 on your list, dude. Wow.
Yeah, but one like I feel like all 3 of those were like, you're like, I mean, obviously the 2, the one, the number 1, right? If whoever it was, that was the most detrimental, but the other 2 to me were the most like comical in terms of just like, what? How does that work? You know what I mean? I'm sure there's others. Everybody's got their own list. I'm sure there's others that I'm forgetting.
Well, Nick Boyd's flagrant too against Wyoming this year, where he got tossed at the end of the game. They got all those free throws, and they almost came back. And he was warned several times, and he definitely said something to Ogbin. Ogbin's such an instigator, man. You know, he started it against us at our place, and then he was yapping again at their place, and he got hit with a tee. So
okay, Fembone's backing you up. She says Kawhi did get a tee, and she would know. She was there.
I was there.
Yeah, I was there too.
You know what I mean?
Way up at the top.
So there was 2 tees in the same game against UConn?
So I don't remember. Yeah, it was something. Yeah, but anyways, due to us. But those are my 3. I'm gonna have other 3. 5's a lot. 5's too much sometimes for certain categories. You know. Do you guys have any technical fouls that you remember that you're like, what the fuck is this, dude?
Not so much Aztec basketball. Not so much Aztec basketball.
But 3 technicals in 38 seconds is like
That's
I
got
was
to be a
watching that
record.
back.
That's got to
I've
be a
never-
record for the
I've never seen
Aztecs.
that before.
Well, it's 2 on us and then 1 on them, right?
But still, just 3 in general.
It's just, yeah. It was out of hand.
Well, I love when Dutch gets on fire like that. He doesn't do it often, like you said, Mike, but it's always at the right time. Whether it was protecting Magoon when he went down, or in this case, it's like you, and even the announcer said it. You know, that's about as hot as you're gonna see him get, and it's always justified. So
I like when he gets passionate.
The only time I've seen him like hotter was when he threw the clipboard down. Remember that?
Was that last year?
I think so. I think so. He was so mad, and he threw the clipboard down. And when he throws a clipboard, man, it's got to be something that, you know, they did something bad.
Like, I'm a big believer of every once in a while you got to throw a temper tantrum.
oh yeah,
I mean, you just got to. Sometimes you.
Well, especially against these refs, knowing
Yeah.
the caliber of refs, it's like you do got to flex. You got to flex a little bit on them just so you can have your authority and sway the. It's gamesmanship. It's a ton of gamesmanship from the coaches, right? At least it's not like muss, Ugh.
Was that? Did he throw the clipboard? Was that the game last year at home against Colorado State where they were up big at halftime and then we stormed back and beat them? Was that game or was it at Colorado State?
So Dwayne Windish in the chat is saying it was at Colorado State. I don't remember exactly where, but I remember on the clipboard, and it was like you went, oh, but you also kind of laughed too because it's like so out of character for Dutch.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Mike, you got to skedaddle. I know you got some things you got to get to for the evening. You doing okay? You doing okay? We're gonna wrap things up in just a minute, but
yeah, I gotta get out of here in a few.
All right, man. All right, no hating, no hating. Guys, UNLV Tuesday night in Las Vegas. I don't know exactly what time is that. A 8:00 game again?
Probably 8:15.
Yeah, I think so.
Typically 8:15. It seems like it starts.
8:00, man.
8:15. Then we got we got Fiends buddies from UNR coming down to San Diego.
Senior night this Saturday. I know they were asking. Who was asking that? Was that Larry Joe? He's asking, is it a real whiteout? Is the team going to be wearing white? Are we going to be wearing white? Are we all going to be wearing white? As far as I know, we are all going to be wearing white. It's a whiteout senior night. That's kind of the tradition. So, yeah. Guys, how we feeling?
This is the best time of year, man. It's the best time of year. You know what I mean? Like, you got college basketball, you got baseball starting up, you got, obviously the tournaments are starting. I think, what is it, this weekend? Right? This weekend. College basketball, you got golf coming up. Sounds like our guy Xander Schauffele is going to come back next week or two from his injury, which is good because I do enjoy watching our San Diego State guy ball out. But this is fun, man. Like, we get UNLV at UNLV, where we're 14-2 in the last 16 games there against UNLV, and then we get home at Nevada, and then we see what happens from there. Because after that, you're not guaranteed anything.
Well, you know what we are guaranteed? That Miles Bird, if he does not go to the professional ranks, he's coming back to San Diego State. I don't even think he jumped into that. Big announcement on his part. There's still a big if there. And I know in the chat they want us to talk about how this team is going to be next year, but we'll save that for another day. But I'm excited to think about that.
At least you got your core 3 guys with, Boyd saying he's coming back for sure. And Reese is coming back for sure. Miles is coming back if he doesn't go pro. So, yeah, those 3 guys come back. I mean, that's a huge nucleus. Would love to have Goon back. We'll see, with that. But, yeah, if they can keep this core intact, it's going to be really exciting for next year. But, again, we're just focused on finishing this year and getting the tournament. And that would be amazing year for this young team to be able to get to the tournament, and let's see what we can do once we get there.
Absolutely.
Are you excited? Are you excited to see what New Mexico does in the tournament this year, Fiend? Do you think anybody else? Here's a question for you. Say, maybe we don't have to answer it right now. Say Utah State, New Mexico, us, maybe a fourth team. By the way, they put Boise State ahead of us in the 37 rankings or something like that. Did you see that? Whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. That's why rankings are like. But another Mountain West team needs to win a basketball game in the NCAA tournament, man. You know what I mean? You have to have – there is some lack of legitimacy that we have now that we get a little bit more of a benefit of the doubt than these other teams because they're like – they haven't won anything. They don't win games when they go to the NCAA tournament. Now that we have – like last year, we got a 5 seed, right? So I think we get helped from our experience like everything else. So Mike's Menage a I like that. Oh my. Let's do that. Look at Larry Joe. No, but it'll be fun, man. And I'll get to see you guys over there in Vegas, and hopefully we get to see some of the people out there. And it's a fun time of year, man. It's a fun time of year, and I'm excited to do it, and excited to see you guys in a couple weeks.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if this Mountain West is going to be a 3 or a 4 bid team. I mean, at the beginning of the year, it almost looked like it was just going to be a 2, if that, right? So I think some teams are serving themselves well down the stretch, like Colorado State. But we'll see. The conference rankings may not reflect who's actually going to finish in the tournament, right? Our out of conference is so good. So, if we just handle business, that should leap us over, some of these teams.
Yeah.
That don't have that.
Our wins are way better than some of the other Mountain West teams. I mean, there are some good wins. Beating St. Mary's, they're playing really well. Boise beating Clemson at home, that was a really good victory. But they've also had some really bad losses. Whether that's New Mexico State, whether that's Boston College, they're terrible this year. Boise lost to them. UC Riverside, I think, by Colorado State. And Colorado State, they don't have the top end wins. Like I just don't see how they're going to get in the tournament. I mean, they might have a chance if they beat Boise. They finish out, on a run and get maybe to the championship game of the Mountain West tournament. But I just don't think their non-conference schedule. They took some losses to some good teams, but they didn't pick up any wins. So I hear this talk of them being an at-large team. I just don't see it.
All right. You guys heard it direct. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. The Sons of Montezuma podcast. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button before you log off. And if you haven't already checked out the online shop, MONTY, save 15% off on non-NIL items. Aztecs and Rebels tomorrow night, Tuesday, March 4th, 8 o'clock tip-off time. We'll be watching and hopefully celebrating another Aztecs victory. The last road game, the next to last game with senior night this Saturday. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you guys very soon. And before we head off, sonsofmontezuma.com. Go Aztecs.
Go Aztecs.
Go Aztecs. Hey, by the way, Denver is one of the first round places for the NCAA tournament, and that's at altitude. So hopefully we'll get stuck there if we go there. Anyways, go Aztecs.
Boo. All right, everybody. Have a great night.